Welcome to Behind the Scenes. I am your host, Hector Montalvo. This show is dedicated to asking tough questions for you, the viewers. We bring you their responses, and we let you decide. Joining us here today at our Haverhill studio, my man from Your Boy Nice, Mr. Andy Pena.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Pena, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
What is going on with Putin? Did you see Putin and the G7
I know we see
summit?
more Putin than we did of our president. He took more questions and answered more than our own president. Definitely.
He is brutal when he speaks. He is very brutal, but he's on point.
No, he doesn't lie. He said the communications ever since Trump has deteriorated between them. So the G7 was pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
That nothing was going on there.
And what about the vice president? Did you see how she was welcomed, sort of like Obama was welcomed back when he
no
was
red
president?
carpet, right?
No red carpet.
They had
nobody
signs there. People had signs they were holding up saying that Kamala go home, but Trump won.
Yeah.
We don't want you here. But she was also out there. Did you know that in El Salvador was one of the first countries to accept cryptocurrency
Really?
as one of the major currencies to pay taxes?
Wow.
She was also out there trying to pump Microsoft cryptocurrencies to Ecuador.
It's crazy.
And all of that.
It's crazy. I mean, they should be focusing on the American people.
Right,
You know?
somebody on our border, right? Not somewhere else.
Exactly.
I haven't been to Europe neither. I just want to say, you know what I mean?
Well, you got a tan like you were.
Oh no, I wasn't voted neither.
And those Fauci emails, those are going to be very interesting coming out.
Hunter
there's-
Biden.
Yeah, the Hunter Biden
Hunter
emails.
Biden as well.
Yeah, they're getting.
What happened was BLM there. BLM's not concerned with Hunter Biden's.
No, they're not. And what's going on over there in L.A.? L.A. You can now go into a Walgreens and actually steal, basically,
Yeah,
up to $950.
that's beautiful.
And you don't get prosecuted.
Anyway, not only Walgreens, but Walgreens in particular, they're closing 17 stores in California alone because of that.
Wow.
They can't persecute anybody.
And there's even talk of them supplying, paying all the back rent for the COVID for all those residents that were not able to pay their rent. It just came out on the news today. They're
I don't know where
spending
they come up with
billions
that.
of dollars. Can
That's
you
insane.
imagine that?
That's insane. I guess that's where they're taking the money from the police, right? They're gonna
Yeah,
pay it in rent. Is
that's
what
that
it is?
defunding the
Defund
police. So they take that money and put it into the general fund and then help the.
We still want to know where the $1 billion from New York went.
Yeah, and doesn't China owe us?
Oh,
money?
China owes 10 billion. 10 with a B, billion.
$billion.
Trump, get that money. We need that. 10 billion reparation fees.
Do you think Biden has the courage to go after China and get that money?
Papa San cannot get it done.
Papa Son is not gonna get it done. He's
No,
still
no.
sleeping.
He's been in the basement.
He had.
I know.
That he had. And it's interesting because Arizona is doing audits right now.
The first audit. They're trying to do another stampede like January 6th. But it's barricaded. It's live on 9 TVs. They
Yeah.
can't pull it to this time.
That it is. And
Yeah.
the murder rates just keep going up and up
By
and
the
up.
hundredth
Yeah.
percentile.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean,
Well, the audits too. Getting back to the audit in Georgia. Georgia's gonna come up soon too, and also Stacey. They got a lot of things on Stacey Abrams coming out right now. Like it was like her tech company that did their audit over there. There's a lot of empty ballots, a lot of fraud going on.
oh yes, yeah. I mean,
So yeah, Arizona's just the start.
yeah, it's a start, and it's trickling down because Georgia's next. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And the murder rates are just off the roof. I mean, those things are. I mean, they're just going crazy out there, everywhere. Chicago,
Everywhere.
L.A.
Even in Minnesota, there was I think there's like 200 less cops on the force already.
Yeah.
And with nobody that wants to work there, we already talked about that.
And which is sad because the police department are looking for creative ways now to try to get people to enlist, and it's so hard because they have really taken a beating everywhere, and government has been helping them get a beating.
No, definitely. I mean, they're giving incentives for everything. Right in Oklahoma, they're giving you $3 million reward if you find Bigfoot. You know, they put a reward on everything. They put a candy bar. They make you trying to do anything.
Yeah, and they're still trying to hit the people hard on their Second Amendment. I just saw on my way into the studio, I saw an article with the Department of Justice setting up, now they're starting to do stings on the highways and all that stuff, looking for guns and stuff like that.
Legal guns. They're trying to take your legal guns.
Well, I mean, I don't know how they're trying to take people's legal guns, but they're trying to take people's weapons away. And that's
a lot
sad
been going
thing.
on in the courts right now too. Also, they also ruled that people that came in with special asylums can't file for citizenships.
Yeah.
So if you come in with an asylum case, you cannot file for citizenship.
Yeah, the court is that's a different topic for a different day. They have their own issues going on in the courthouses. We have judges sitting on the benches that don't even know the law, and they're just appointed not based on what they know, but who they know, and that's a problem. And that you see that everywhere in government, from local government all the way up to the federal government. The violence on the plane. What is going on with people these days? They're just going crazy.
No, there's actually a professor that's trying to link that to Corona.
Really?
He's saying you're having outrage because of Corona.
It's crazy. I mean, you get it. I mean, public servants and so on like that. I mean, look how they talk to the people. I can imagine how these airlines are actually demanding things from
Well, now they even setting back. They're giving people their money back because for like the bookings in July. They can't fulfill all bookings in July.
It's crazy. It's
There's
crazy.
not enough people even to work in the airfield.
Yeah, they can't. I mean, like I said in the last show, everything is back. Everything is a delay. I mean, everybody's hiring. Nobody's looking for work.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy out there. Meanwhile, regular people are struggling to get shirts, are struggling to get flooring, are struggling to get appliances, the whole 9 yards. It's just crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Sure.
Were you able to watch the local city council yesterday, or hear the local city council in regards to the impact fees budget that they had going on yesterday?
Yeah, I heard it on the news. I heard on the radio station. I heard a couple.
Can you believe that they were not able to set a budget and we're only a few days away from July 1st? What's going to happen?
Relying on impact fees. They only relying on impact fees.
Yeah, and those
Over 3%. They couldn't come to a conclusion over 3%. That's all it was over.
But somebody in the council is going to fold. And usually there's always a politician that's going to fold just to please the other side.
Well,
It's
there
called
was-
compromise.
Yeah, there was one siding definitely with the mayor, but I don't know his name.
Yeah, I can't recall the exact councilor that was who did come on and ask for a reconsideration, and he was on the actual opposing side, so
Right.
there wasn't anything like that. You own a local business in the city of Haverhill, correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you pay an impact fee?
I do not pay an impact
And
fee.
you are in the downtown area.
I am in downtown. Please don't come at me with no impact fee. I will be impacted.
Definitely. What do you think? Why do you think Kamala or Biden hasn't gone to the border to solve the issues that?
Border. They set Kamala up real nice with that one. That was like 7 months back. They put her as the border czar. She still hasn't been there.
She has not visited the border at all.
She's been to Mexico. She's been to a couple of countries there. 170 just in May they captured. 170,000 coming across the border just in May.
It's crazy.
And those are the captives, right?
Yeah.
Not including the ones that we let go in.
And now Texas is talking about building their own wall
Yeah.
alongside where where Trump started his war.
They finishing where Trump left off, definitely, or where they took the funding from.
That would be interesting to see if Texas does pull that off, because now you have a double barrier there. You have to get through one wall, although I understand, and I haven't seen the
But
wall.
they shipping them in. They coming through the border and they shipping them directly in. They give you a brand new iPhone and a plane ticket.
Yeah, give
Say,
you a car to
figure it
drive around, give
We
you a
need a
couple of... Yeah, we'll pay it. Here we go, government.
Definitely.
That's government for you. So what else is going out there in the crazy world?
Oh man, I mean that Putin interview was amazing.
That was.
He was going on for days. He had plenty to say. I mean, cyber war. He had a bunch of things going on there.
Do you think he has a valid point when he speaks about how he speaks about Biden?
Oh, definitely. I mean, in comparison, he said Trump was a non-establishment, an extraordinary person, and Biden said he's an extremist, the complete opposite of Trump. I mean, that's pretty clear. That's apparent to me.
Yeah, and I mean, Biden can't even finish a whole entire sentence. I mean,
stuttering over himself every time, confusing countries.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
It is. It definitely is. And Obama was recently in the news as well. He made a speech in regards to that. But we'll see what happens.
What was that? What he said? I didn't hear that one.
Well, he was on yesterday on I think it was one of the national news where he was basically saying, no, this is not how it's supposed to be done, but this is how it should be done. So he was throwing some little keywords into his statement.
Finagling it.
Yeah, and
Making
he's
it
always a
sound
good
good.
talker, though. He's a good talker.
Definitely. He was a constitutional lawyer, wasn't he? He knows his way around words.
Yeah, he does.
Definitely.
He really does. He's a smooth talker. He knows how to get people's attention, and he knows to hit. He knows where to hit.
Right.
And that's
Right.
a politician, because that's how politicians operate. They
get into your emotions.
That's right. They go into your emotions. They want to tell you what you want to hear. They want to get you to vote for them based on what they're saying to you. And then you know how it goes. Politics, it's a two-face and a lie. They're looking at you right now and telling you one thing. Behind your back, they're doing another.
Well, they were talking about that, though. The federal government had an Operation Trojan, and it was like a black market they set up. So where people do take for instance the pipeline that they did, and they were getting paid in Bitcoin. So they set up a market where you could spend that money, and they were tracking people's organizations, through a app that they built for themselves. It's like an entrapment. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They built it, they made you work on it, and then they captured all your work.
It's great.
And made it illegal,
Yeah. And they're tracking everything now. I mean, they're tracking everything. Everything. Even the COVID shot, they're tracking. And it's interesting about the COVID shot because there was a 17-year-old that got a second shot and ended up in the hospital.
I heard about that.
Did you hear about that?
That was locally here in Haverhill. Yeah, that's very scary.
It was.
And our thoughts and prayers go out to the family.
Yes, I mean, that is scary. I mean, and there's also some of the COVID shots are also having to do with the heart.
So the CDC just came out recently, I believe today, and said that children under 17 should not be getting the COVID vaccine.
Which contradicts everything that
Right.
everybody else is doing,
Right.
the federal government and so on, and they wanted to do that to get the kids into school and so on, and I don't think government should play a part in telling a parent, right, they shouldn't be playing a part in your home. But you know how people operate. They listen to the government. They always listen to the government, And Biden is really pissed off with Facebook because Facebook did not do enough to try to cover or hide most of the stuff that was coming out because of COVID and the administration and so on. Did you see anything about that?
So the Hunter Biden emails he had just leaked, he was having a conversation with one of his lawyers and where he had kept referring to him as the N-word. And that's what the leak has been, and that's why the president is mad because Facebook didn't block or fact check, give you a fact check on those.
And when did fact check actually start coming up? I mean,
COVID-19.
COVID-19. They started.
Fact check has affected more people than COVID-19.
Yeah, it has. It's crazy. I'm telling you. And One thing that strikes me all the time is watching Kamala. She talks a good game, but she has no action behind it. Like she doesn't really have backing.
They keep asking her when she's going to the border, and she says that we've been there, but she personally has not been there since they put her in charge of the border.
And Biden, I don't believe, has made it to the border either.
Neither as well. So he definitely put her there for the fall.
And all the promises that he made and gave to the people, I mean, what's the chances of Trump coming back?
Well, let's see. The audits are still on and going. Georgia's next, pending.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting election cycle coming up.
We're not putting a day. I mean, it's interesting to see what they're going to do. Are they going to restart the 4 years? Does he get the remaining of the 4?
That would be very interesting. That would be, because
I wonder how that goes.
I'm under the impression, and I don't know this for a fact because I haven't read the actual Constitution on how it's written into that aspect, but if he served 4 years, it wasn't consecutive. It wasn't a straight, he served 4 years. If he would have got it reelected, that would have been 8 years. He would have not been able to run for office again. Now that he was elected for 1 term, and if he does decide to run again for a 2nd term,
would he be able to do it?
Would he be able to?
I'm not sure. I think it's about two terms. I don't know if it matters if it's consecutive.
I don't know. I'm going to look into that.
Definitely good.
I'm going to look into that. He would probably be the first. And technically, if he did get elected, I mean,
he also went through the what you call it, when they not indicted him. What you call it? The impeachment. They tried to impeach him.
And
he won that one as well. Boy, that boy even won COVID. Hydroxychloroquine. What is it?
But
wow.
you know, it's interesting though. The Main Street media attacked him. They never gave Trump an opportunity to prove to the American people what a non-politician can do versus a politician.
Well, if they put Joe Biden under the scrutiny that they did to Trump, we'd be laughing for days. Saturday Night Live would have skits all day. But they don't get the same love, I guess.
Yeah, they don't get the same love.
No.
I mean, but Trump...
Or the Democrats are the ones writing the jokes.
Trump drew a lot of ratings. Every time he spoke, people were glued to find out what stuff was going to come out of that mouth.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
No, his ratings were through the roof. You couldn't compete with Trump. I mean, I haven't seen Joe Biden in this country anywhere. We see him in Sweden. We see him in the G7.
We saw him in the G7.
We didn't see him with Putin.
Yeah.
We didn't see that.
We saw him with the FBI, with the Attorney General for the FBI, and he was there today with him, but that was in Washington, D.C., so he wasn't anywhere else. What else is hot on the topics going around, whether it's local, state, federal?
I mean, that local, the mayor's race is coming up here in Haver as well, right?
Yeah, we have Mayor Jim Ferentini, and we also have another candidate who is a local police officer, Guy Cooper. And that's going to be an interesting race because Cooper is a police officer, part of the union, and the mayor's been the longest sitting mayor for the city of Haver. He's been...
That's never worked, huh? How's that?
Yeah. Establishment
folks, that doesn't work too well.
He controls the data. He has the database. He's got all the voters, all the registered voters. He's got the elderlies, who are the ones that vote the most. So it's going to be hard to defeat the mayor.
Do you know what the voter rate is? Like how many people in Haver actually vote?
Well, that's the sad thing about not just Haver, but in every community.
With local elections, right?
With local elections.
Very low.
Nobody gets involved. I mean, you have one candidate that's been sitting in office for many, many, many years. You have another candidate who's a police officer who's never been a politician. It's going to be hard for a non-politician to come in and beat someone that's already established, that has the backing of the people, of their base, of their own base.
Right. You have to be a people person. Man.
Correct.
Coming from a police department, that's pretty gonna be hard.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be
definitely gonna
hard.
be
I mean,
hard.
but it's going to be interesting to see what happens, especially on the debates. And I know that my show is planning a debate between the two candidates for mayor, and it's going to be a.
Do you know the major contrasts is like where they both of them differ?
So I'm not quite sure where they differ yet. We are anticipating in studio interview with both candidates. So right now, I'm not trying to let anything out of the hat,
Right.
but I am following
Working on it.
both campaigns very carefully, and it's going to be interesting because the mayor is involved in a local lawsuit with a local establishment in the downtown area. And it's going to be interesting on that particular front itself because there's a case in court involving these these establishments and so on. And the mayor is kind of involved in one of those establishments. I mean, he eats breakfast there a lot of times. He's always in the downtown area.
A biased opinion might be held.
There's a good possibility, and it's going to affect a lot of people at the end. But the business owner is the one that's going to be affected the most because that business has an agreement with the city to pay a 3%
The impact fee.
impact fee.
But that's only one. That's only one of the 3 marijuana dispensaries that are open now.
So I'm wondering how they're going to establish what impact was caused by each individual store.
Do they each get a different rate?
That's going to
Are
be
they splitting the bill between 3?
that's going to be an interesting question for the mayor and for Guy Cooper on the show because how are they going to determine that a crime in this store affected a crime in the downtown area?
Well, I mean, if they're
or
checking
another
IDs
area?
at the door, then they should definitely know which store or where they came from. And if something happened, right? So if something did happen and they didn't come from the store, why would they charge those stores?
Exactly. Why? So if the stores are in the downtown area, and we've met with the owner of STEM, we've had her here on our show, and she's a little confused as to why she can't get information from the city. We actually went out and got information from other communities, and they were able to provide that information. But the city of Haverhill is holding on to that information. We want to know why they're holding on to that information.
They must love Caroline, huh?
It's got to be there's some type of backdoor deal going on back there.
Man.
Yeah, number
That's
wise.
never good.
No, it's not. But that's what happens in politics. Everything is done behind closed doors.
Maybe
so.
if she wore a Fiorentini t-shirt, then he let us slide.
Yeah, maybe, it's gonna be interesting, and we also have a race for city council as well coming up here in the city of Haverhill. It's gonna be interesting to see how many people are gonna come in and run for the city council. I'm willing to bet that probably get 1 or 2
Fresh faces.
fresh faces.
Everybody else will
Unknown
be
people.
incumbent, right?
Correct. And a lot of times, in most elections, someone is always handpicked to
hand me down.
the hand-me-down.
I'm gonna take vacation. You take
You-
control of the wheel.
You know what I mean? It's all to keep everything running nice and smooth. But it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting election. Like I always say, politics, it's a dirty game, baby. It's a dirty game. 'Cause in my view, politicians and diapers have one thing in common, and that's why they need to be changed regularly and for the same reason. And that is my view. That's only my view. But if you look through government, you're probably going to find out that that
they
statement
need
is.
limits. They definitely need limits. They should be up to 4 years at a time.
And you know what's another election race that I am looking forward to is the state state race with Diana DeZoglio. She is now running for auditor.
All right.
Okay, she is currently a state senator. And it's going to be interesting because Diana DeZoglio wants to run now for auditor, but she's running under a victim type of campaign. Do you know what I mean? She wants to change how victims are seen, how confidential agreements are written and enforced, and so on. That is going to be an interesting race to watch.
So she's running as a progressive. That's what it sounds like.
She's running as something. I don't know, because as a state senator, Diane DeZoglio has not been an open and transparent senator, in my view and in my opinion. And I also have a whole bunch of communications with Diane DeZoglio that have gone unresponsive. So that's going to be a good election. And another election that we also keeping an eye on is the Andy Vargas election. He appears to be running unopposed currently.
Yeah.
We'll see if that changes. I believe people still have time to take out papers, but we'll see.
Local elections are hard, definitely, because of the low turnout rate.
And that's sad.
A lot of people don't get involved unless it's during a presidential race.
Yeah.
Most people only come out to vote every 4 years.
And it's sad that,
I agree.
so much things that the city has to offer, and nobody out there to support these things. They just, the same old voters, 20%, 21% out of 67,000
And it's definitely getting bad.
people.
I mean, they're building buildings all over the place. Taxes are going skyrocket.
Just last night, the taxes, the budget didn't pass, so
Right.
there won't be a tax
But it was
increase.
proposed to raise taxes.
It's proposed to raise 2% of your taxes for all homeowners and so on. So that's going to be in a year that people have struggled the previous years. A lot of
Right.
people lost their jobs. They were working from home, and now they're going to get a 2% increase.
So while struggling, we want more money.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
That's
crazy,
beautiful.
but that's government for you. But the people allow government,
Right,
to
you
do
have
that.
the chance to stop them at the tracks.
and this is the time to stop them on their
Locally, you
track.
have to start locally.
Exactly. If you start locally, you can make an impact. You
I
can
agree
make a
with that.
huge impact. What do you think is going to come out of the audit that is being conducted right now in Arizona, and it's also going to be going to
So whether who wins or not, I believe the most important thing that we are witnessing is that it's easy to tamper with the election process.
very
Right.
easy.
So that's where it is.
And Trump
They're
said
using
that.
they're using old machinery, old Microsoft networks and stuff like that to do it. So it's very hackable.
Correct. And I'll tell you, to be honest with you, it's completely insane how this can happen in today's age.
No, the greatest country in the world, also, right?
Crazy. It's crazy. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but people need to get involved to make a difference, because that's the only way things are going to change. I mean, look at the police, defund the police. Look how quickly that took off.
Right.
So is
And
that what has
it's not
to happen?
working. No, definitely. I mean, with all the crime rising everywhere, it's bad. They definitely need to renegotiate that situation.
Yeah, it's just nobody in government seems to know what they want to do or what they're doing in that aspect.
Worried about people's feelings. Everybody wants to worry about people's feelings and not do what has to be done.
Yeah, you're dictating one thing over another, or you're protecting somebody over this person.
They made the good guy the bad guy.
Exactly. You know what I mean? When does it end? And how do we get it to end?
You have to take control back.
And it starts here in the local level with the local elections. You want change? Why people go out and vote for name recognition? Why?
Right.
You want change? Vote for the next guy. Let's start let's start removing politicians off the list, one step at a time. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. You can't. The norm, right? You got to change the norm.
You have to. The people have to.
Yes.
You know. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Well, Andy, we're getting close to wrapping it up. We've discussed the audit in Arizona. We discussed the murder rates that are going up. We talked about Putin and G7. We talked about the FBI and their role in the guns. We talked about the border. We talked about the emails. Those emails are going to be very, very interesting over the summer.
Still coming out.
But there is something in the works right now that's going to prevent those emails from making it.
Another catastrophe.
Yeah. And that's how they get you. All right. Andy, I want to thank you for coming in.
I appreciate it. Thank you
We'll
for having
see you
me.
again on our next show.
All right.
You've been watching Behind the Scenes. Join us next time as we go behind the scenes to ask some tough questions, bring you their responses. We let you decide. Thank you for watching.